A very good morning to all the students. I hope every one of you is fine and in your best health. So before we start our today's lecture, let's go through to some guidelines which we have been following since this pandemic of COVID-19 has occurred. So we have been wearing masks and following physical distancing, but somehow we have forgotten all these things now, and everyone is leading their life like a normal we were doing before. But this pandemic is not yet over, so we need to follow these guidelines regularly as we were doing before. So, for that, we have to wear our mask properly. We should stay at least 6 feet away from each other. We should wash our hands frequently. Whenever we touch any surface or whenever we have any physical contact, first of all, we should avoid the physical contact. But if we do, we have to wash our hands. We should always sanitize our hands. We should wash our hands with the help of soap and water at least for 20 seconds, and we should remember not to touch our face very often, and we should not share our foods and drinks with the others. Now, keeping all these things in mind, these things will make us safe and our family members safe, and we will not be infected from this COVID-19, because this is a dreadful disease because it communicates very fast and it spreads. So it's better to have precautions than cure. So all these preventions will make us safe from this disease. Okay, so you will all keep all these things in your mind always, and we will always wear our mask. We will follow physical distancing and maintain the hand hygiene. Okay, so this good morning, students. Today we will be doing our last chapter of our biology section, that is chapter 15, our environment. This is an easy chapter and all the topics will be those which you have been hearing and studying from your previous classes. So it is going to be an easy chapter, but yet it is a part of your board syllabus, so we have to study this and make sure that you get to know each and everything from this chapter, because this chapter is theory based chapter and the answers will be in a theory form. So you just learn the definitions and the main keywords in this chapter. Okay, so let's start. So let's start with the environment. So whenever we hear this term environment, it means that the surroundings, our physical surroundings, and the things which includes in our physical surroundings are living things and non-living things. Now the living things are those things which are called as biotic factors, okay, and the non-living things are called as abiotic factors. Okay, so these biotic and abiotic factor together make an environment. So biotic factors means plants, animals and human beings as well. Along with that, it also includes microorganisms. Okay, and abiotic factors means air, water, soil. Okay, so environment is our physical surroundings, like air, water bodies, like air, water bodies, soil and organisms like plants, animals and microorganisms. Okay, so environment is a mixture of our physical surroundings, of living things and non-living things, which can be called as biotic factors and abiotic factors. Okay, so now these biotic factors and abiotic factors can be like, first we'll deal with this. So plants. Plants are the autotrophs. That means they make their own food. They don't need anybody to have food on, because they can provide their own food. Animals, they need food, so they get food from plants. So animals are called as consumers, and human beings are also called as consumers. And then the microorganisms, which are the dead plant, which eat up the dead plants and animals, are called as decomposers. Okay, now coming to the abiotic factor, we know that Earth is called as a biosphere. Earth has a biosphere, and bio means life and sphere means a round ball. Okay, we call Earth as a sphere. So when there is life plus sphere, we call it a biosphere. So biosphere has three things in them, that is hydrosphere, okay, then we have atmosphere, and then we have lithosphere. So hydrosphere, atmosphere and lithosphere are three things which makes the biosphere. That means these three things are abiotic factors which are responsible for the biotic factor which gives rise to biosphere. Okay, so Earth has a biosphere which is made up of all these three things, hydrosphere, atmosphere and lithosphere, which forms a biosphere. Okay, so these biotic factors which we want to study today is, when we include these biotic factors, they are just formed into three classes. That is, number one, start with biotic factors. Biotic factors or biotic organisms, we will write organisms. Okay, so biotic organisms are actually they are the components of ecosystem. Let's start with the ecosystem first. So what is ecosystem? Okay, so what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is a self-contained unit of living things including living things and non-living things. Okay, it's a self-contained unit of living things and non-living things. Okay, so in this, living things are the biotic factors, and in this, non-living things are the abiotic factors. Okay, so example of ecosystem. So example of ecosystem are a forest or a desert or even a pond. Okay, so if we will see there is a pond, so if you'll imagine like in a pond, if it is this looks like a reservoir, but imagine it's a pond. In that pond there will be some grasses, okay, there will be some microscopic animals, there will be some fishes, and then there will be some big fishes. What will happen? The fishes will eat grass, okay, then these fishes will be eaten up by the bigger fishes, and when all these plants and animals will die, the microscopic animals will feed on them. So they have decomposers, okay, they have producers, and they have consumers. So plants are called as producers because they will produce the food, consumers will consume the food, and decomposers will decompose the food. Imagine if you will keep aquarium at your house and you will provide food to them, so the fishes will eat that food. But what if they die? Okay, if you will not change the water, they will die. And when they die, you don't remove the fishes out of the water. What will happen? The living fishes will also die, because there are no decomposers in an artificial environment, because that is called as an artificial ecosystem. So a natural ecosystem is a system in which all the three forms are there, that is producers, consumers and decomposers. That means for an ecosystem there has to be three types. That should be the producers, which are called as autotrophs, the consumers, which are called as heterotrophs, and the decomposers, which are called as saprotrophs. Okay. So, components of ecosystem. Components of ecosystem. So, components of ecosystem are two: abiotic components, then biotic components. Okay, so abiotic components are those like they are the non-living components, like they are air, soil, water, along with some physical factors such as light, temperature, and some minerals. Okay, so then biotic components are of three types, that is producers, number two is consumers, and number three is decomposers. Okay, so producers can be autotrophs, example plants. Okay, consumers are heterotrophs, and decomposers are saprotrophs. So heterotrophs are animals and saprotrophs are the bacteria and fungi. Okay, so these functioning of ecosystem are that the solar energy, so actually the sun is the ultimate source of energy. Sun will provide the energy, then plants will grow, and then plants will be eaten up by consumers, then it will be decomposed by decomposers. Okay, so because the plants will trap the solar energy and then they will provide the basic food energy for the other life forms in the ecosystem. Now the producers are the organic substances or the organisms which can prepare their own food by simple inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, water, by using sunlight and chlorophyll. And examples of these are blue-green algae and the plants. So consumers are the organisms which consume food, which eat food, and which do not prepare their own food, but they are called as consumers. Now consumers can be of three types, that are herbivores. Consumers can be of three types which are called as consumers. Can be herbivore, okay, carnivore and omnivore. Herbivore are deer, cow, buffaloes. Carnivore can be lion, tiger, and omnivore is man, dog, etc. Okay, so these herbivores are called as primary consumers. These are called as secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. So the consumers which are small, the small carnivores are called as secondary consumers, and the larger carnivore are called as tertiary consumers. Okay, so omnivores can be like they can eat both the plants and animals, so they are called as
omnivores, and there are some other types of producers and consumers which are extremely small. They are called as planktons. So planktons are very minute or microscopic organisms which freely float on the surface of water on a pond or a lake or an ocean. So planktons are of two types, that is phytoplanktons PLANKTONS, and the other one is zooplanktons. Okay. So these phytoplankton and zooplanktons are two different things. So microscopic aquatic, these are the microscopic aquatic plants, and zooplanktons are microscopic aquatic animals. Okay, so planktons are microscopic plants and animals. In this, phytoplanktons are microscopic aquatic plants and zooplanktons are the microscopic aquatic animals. Okay, so these microscopic animals also freely float on the water, and they are very small fishes are also called as zooplanktons, and planktons float near the surface of water, and they provide food for many fishes and aquatic animals. And then there comes the decomposers, the last one, the decomposers. Okay, so these decomposers, they help in decomposing the dead organisms. So the which break down the complex organic compounds present in the microorganisms which break down the complex organic compound present in dead plants and animals into simpler substances are called as decomposers. Okay, so these are decomposers. Now decomposers are very beneficial to us. So they are beneficial to us, like they are very important to us. So importance of decomposers. So decomposers are very important to us. Firstly, decomposers are examples of decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Okay, so although microscopic animals are more than this, microscopic animals can be protozoa, virus and algae, but algae is green in color. They contain chlorophyll, so they can make their own food, and they are called as autotrophs. Okay, so they are not called as decomposers. Only bacteria and fungi are saprotrophs, and they are called as decomposers. Okay, so these decomposers help in decomposing the dead bodies of plant and animals and act as a cleansing agent of environment. Okay, so because of the decomposers only, the various nutrients of the elements which were taken by plants and animals again add up to the soil, because they also help in the soil fertility and they help the crops to grow well. They also help in the purification of the soil, and you would have seen in the nitrogen cycle also they are the important role of bacteria which feeds the nitrogen to the soil. Okay, so decomposers are the organisms which help in recycling the material of ecosystem, so the process of life may go on and on like an ending chain. So the decomposers are very beneficial. The decomposers, I will write for you. So the decomposers help in recycling the material in the ecosystem so that the process of life may go on and on. Okay, so this is about the decomposer. So next the topic will be food chain. Food chain. So in the food chain, we know that it is a flow of the energy from one organism to the other organism. So food chain can be explained as the transfer of energy from one organism to the other organism. And it begins with the green plants. So the green plants are the origin of the food chain, and it is a kind of a sequence of living organisms in a community in which one organism consumes the another organisms and they transport food energy, which is called like a food chain. So food chain can be like grass, they are producers, then deer, consumer, then it's lion, which is again a secondary consumer. Okay, so this is a food chain. So food chain represent a unidirectional, is in one direction. So it's a unidirectional transfer of energy, and the study of food chain in any area or a habit keeps us knowing the various interactions among the different organisms and also their interdependence. Okay, so food chain is very important because it is a sequence of living organisms in a community in which one organism consumes the other organism and they transfer food energy from one to the other. So food chain is the transfer of energy from one organisms to the other organisms. Okay, so that is called a food chain. So till this today's lecture is till this topic. So the next coming topics will be covered in the next video lecture. So please go through these topics in your book and try to do some questions. Okay, so till then, take care and have a nice day. Thank you.